Life emerged on Earth about 3.5 billion years ago. At first, it started off with unicellular organisms. About 3 billion years later, multicellular organisms emerged. That means microscopic unicellular organisms have roamed the Earth about 7 times longer than most large organisms that we know of today. Majority of those microorganisms are harmful to other large organisms. That's why life has evolved and developed their own mechanisms for natural defenses. For example, humans produce mucus in the throat to fight back against viruses or bacterial infection, or create high fever to kill pathogens. Because life always has competitions, eating or digesting other life forms, different organisms have different mechanisms for defenses. For higher hierarchy of organisms such as mammals and humans, there is the complex mechanism called the immune system. We know that when we get sick after our body is infected with bacteria, or fungus or viruses, or other microorganisms, the immune system is activated. Some symptoms include high fever, creating mucus, fatigue, and various changes in our body. But what is actually happening inside our body? We need to know that harmful microorganisms are surrounding us everywhere, in the air, ground, liquid, and on any surfaces. The immune system is like an ongoing chaotic machine that keeps running every second to protect us from every potential harmful material. Without the immune system, we would have gotten sick within a few minutes. It makes us appreciate our health even more when we realize how busy the immune system is. Actually, the sign of us getting sick is the signal that the immune system is working immensely. Our bodies are made up of 40 trillion cells. Each cell performs complicated functions to make us survive. But some percentage of those cells are surrounded with hundreds of bacteria and foreign matter all the time. In fact, the moment you're born, you're surrounded by foreign matters from the atmosphere, which some could cause diseases. So why didn't you get sick when you were a fragile baby, with no vaccination? This is thanks to the work of the innate immune system, the defense mechanism that we all receive in the womb from our mother. It consists of many tools present in the blood that have ability to detect, identify, and execute the actions to eliminate the threats. So what are the components of innate immunity? The skin is the primary defense. It deflects almost all foreign matters that come into contact with our body, and we can also consider it as part of innate immunity. The skin is like a desert for pathogens. There is the bottom layer, a few millimeters underneath the top skin, that acts like a keratin protein factory that keeps pushing the old keratin protein upwards to the upper layer that consists of the mature dried skin cells. This upper layer of the skin consists of dead skin cells, salt, and acids that act as antibiotics for most bacteria. Microbes won't be able to infect the body unless there's a cut on the skin. That's when microbes can enter the body through the blood vessels. After that is the job of the second line of defense, which is white blood cells. When we say white blood cells or the immune cells, it seems very vague because they refer to many different types of immune cells that perform specific functions and complex relationships. There are many types of white blood cells in the body. The first white blood cells that come into action when there's infection in the body are macrophage and neutrophils that are readily present in the blood vessels. Macrophage, which is developed from monocytes, can extend its body and surround bacteria or viruses to swallow them. The trapped bacteria or viruses are digested by the acid and are broken down and then released as fragments to be taken up by other cells for use. Neutrophil, on the other hand, is more vigorous. They also have the ability to swallow bacteria or viruses whole, and if there are too many bacteria or viruses surrounding a neutrophil, it can release all the toxic chemicals to kill surrounding bacteria. These toxic chemicals can sometimes harm our own normal body cells as well, which can make you feel ill. Neutrophil can also explode to release the DNA that can act as a net to trap and slow down bacteria or sometimes kill them. However, neutrophils are short-lived compared to macrophages. Macrophages are big and can swallow whole bacteria or other big foreign substances, which can stay much longer if they are hard to digest. Macrophages and neutrophils can give a signal to another type of white blood cell called mast cell. When mast cells are signaled, they release chemicals that cause inflammation. Inflammation causes blood vessels to dilate or increase the number of pores so that the immune system can work more vigorously. However, too much inflammation can cause damage to the surrounding normal cells. Thus, there's exception for important organs such as the brain, testicles, spinal cords and eyes, where inflammation is very limited because damages to those organs cannot be repaired. All immune cells have the ability to release various chemicals called cytokines, which act as signals for communications between cells in our body. The bigger the fight, The higher number of cytokines in the system and the more aggressive the immune system is. Immune cells have receptors all over the body which are specific to different cytokines so that they can sense them. Some pathogens are really hard to get rid of. That's why another component in the immune system called complement comes into play. Complements are proteins with 30 different kinds that are produced in the liver and circulate inside the blood. Each complement can break into parts and attach to bacterial surfaces and can have various functions. Once it's attached, it can change its shape and attach to another complement that can have another function. This new shaped protein on the bacterial surface can also activate other proteins to break into parts to activate other proteins. This happens in a very cascading way and exponentially. This means that once a few complements are activated, thousands of others come into action in a few seconds. Many complements are positively charged that can attach to bacterial surfaces that are negatively charged in order to mark the bacteria. This allows the bacteria to be easily identified by macrophage to swallow and kill easily. Some complements can enhance the bodily fluids to kill the pathogen fast. In addition, some complements can even directly kill viruses by binding to them. In conclusion, the innate immunity has contributed to our survival since birth. It helps to prevent, identify, suppress and attack any threats that come into contact with our body. However, the potential of the immune system does not remain the same for lifetime. This depends on the work of another type of immunity called adaptive immunity, which will be discussed in another video. Thanks for watching.